Hey everybody, John Losh here, your friendly neighborhood Losh-Man. Anybody that knows me knows that I love history, and I decided I'm going to probably start a video series and a blog series on history. And one of the my favorite parts of history is the American Civil War. And I'm standing here just off of 291 highway, just south of Liberty, Missouri, and it is Monday the 25th of October 2021. And I'm standing where the Liberty Arsenal once stood. That was one of the very first things that happened as far as the Civil War in Missouri goes. On April 20th, 1861, people from both Jackson and Clay County, who were in favor of secession of states from the Union, attacked the arsenal here in Liberty, Missouri. And it was this kind of heightened fears that there would be an even larger attack by Governor Claiborne Fox and the Missouri Guard, the Missouri State Guard, soon to come in St. Louis, Missouri, and on the arsenal there in St. Louis, Missouri. And this action here on April 20th, 1861 occurred just 8 days after Confederate troops fired on Fort Sumter in South Carolina's Charleston Harbor, and just 10 days after Missouri's first major battle of the Civil War at Wilson's Creek. So again, I'm sitting here in Liberty, Missouri, where the Liberty Arsenal once stood, that was attacked by secessionists on April 20th, 1861. And this is one of the probably one of the very first actions but not the actual first action, but one of the first actions of the American Civil War here in the state of Missouri, and definitely for our area as well. So hopefully you're able to read this whole thing here and enjoy this little piece of history here. And like I said, it's right off of 291 highway, just south of Liberty, Missouri. You can see all the cars going by there on 291. And there's some businesses off to the side here. One of them's got a whole bunch of dump trucks coming out of it here. There's Besame Wellness. I'm not sure what this one is over here. But anyway, so it's in Liberty. It's just south of Liberty, Missouri. And like I said, it's a great piece of Missouri history. And I hope you enjoy this. And so later on this, I don't know if there's stuff on the other side of it. So maybe this is the, okay. All right, yeah, so you get a picture of this side of it, I guess. So it says the Missouri Depot, a federal post more commonly known as Liberty Arsenal, set on the bluffs a quarter-mile southwest of this marker. Built in 1838, received munitions and supplies shipped up the river for use by U.S. Troops on the western frontier, including those stationed at Fort Leavenworth. Situated 10 acres of land above the old Liberty Bend oxbow of the Missouri River, which flowed near the bluffs. The walled arsenal had several buildings, including warehouses and officers' quarters. The federal government maintained it until 1869, and it was sold to private ownership. In the following decade, its buildings were dismantled, and legend holds that many of the older homes in the town of Liberty were built from arsenal bricks. The arsenal was raided by Missouri forces in December 1855 during the Missouri-Kansas border wars. They stripped it of its contents to supply cannon, small arms, and munitions to raiding forces in what would be referred to as the Wakarusa War in the Lawrence, Kansas area in 1856. Most of these munitions and armaments were returned to the arsenal. At the time of the start of the Civil War, Nathaniel Grant was storekeeper in charge of the arsenal with the help of his two assistants. On April 20th, 1861, Grant received a message from a Union sympathizer across the river, camped at the bottom last night. I understand that another company is at or near Liberty, and the destination of both is the arsenal. Look out. If you want to make a speech, get it ready. And this is continued on the other side. So you come over here to the other side that we were looking at previously before I realized it had two sides to it. And it says, later on this date, April 20th, 1861, a week after the fall of Fort Sumter at Charleston, South Carolina, nearly 200 armed and mounted men rode up to the arsenal gate, forced admission, and demanded the surrender of the post and its contents. This raid marked the first overact of citizens of Missouri against the federal government. Henry L. Rout of Liberty led the raid with men from Clay County, was later captured, tried, and convicted of treason for his role in the raid. However, President Abraham Lincoln pardoned him in a conciliatory act to Missouri secessionists. The raid, possibly sanctioned by Governor Claiborne Fox Jackson, had been under consideration for months. The raid lasted a week as the raiders emptied the arsenal of cannons, caissons, wagons, forges, percussion muskets, percussion rifles, rifle carbines, pistols, sabers, swords, powder and cartridges. The Liberty Arsenal raid provided arms to secessionists in northwest Missouri and later to General Sterling Price's Confederate Army. However, its immediate effect was to awaken Union leaders to the dangers of the federal government that the federal government faced in Missouri. The St. Louis Arsenal had most of its stores transferred to Illinois on April 26th or distributed to loyal Union troops. Fort Leavenworth was reinforced, and on May 10th, the Civil War opened in Missouri when Union troops attacked and captured troops loyal to Missouri secessionist Governor Jackson at Lindell's Grove Camp Jackson in St. Louis. So there you are. That's what all the information on here says. So again, just another great piece of Missouri history and kind of where, the earliest parts of the Civil War here in Missouri got started. So hope you've enjoyed this. And like I said, I look forward to bringing you more parts of history throughout Missouri and other places that my family and I end up traveling. So I'll see you next time. God bless, and take care.